Are there going to be major tax hikes in 2026? Hi, I'm financial planner Sean Mullaney. Let's discuss. So, as written, there are scheduled to be several substantial tax increases in the year 2026. First off, the 12% tax bracket is scheduled to go to 15% in the year 2026. What about the popular qualified business income deduction that's been a real benefit for many solopreneurs, freelancers, some manufacturing entities? That qualified business income deduction is scheduled to go poof, to vanish on January 1st, 2026. What about ACA premium tax credits? They were recently extended in terms of availability through the year 2025. Well, guess what? 2026, as written today, the expansion of those tax credits goes away. That notorious 400% of federal poverty level cliff comes back in the year 2026. And lastly, what about the very high standard deduction we enjoy today? That goes back to the 2017 rule, which is a much more modest standard deduction in the year 2026. All right, so those tax hikes are scheduled to occur. Do I actually think they will occur? Here's my thought. No way, Jose. I do not believe Congress is going to let these four very popular tax breaks expire. I believe in the year 2025, the President and Congress will enact extensions to all four of those popular tax cuts. Here's what's going on. Many times the government passes a tax cut and they say, oh, this is just a temporary tax cut. Well, why the heck do they do that? They do that because of the machinations of congressional scorekeeping whenever there are tax law changes. They say, well, in the 10-year projection, this bill has to fit in within a certain number. And one of the ways they make it fit into that number is by making it, quote unquote, temporary. Well, I have news for you. There's nothing more permanent than a temporary tax cut. No Congress wants to be on the hook to be the one Congress that increased all these taxes, that allowed these taxes to go crazy versus the prior year. So my prediction, and I'm very strong in this prediction, look, anything's possible, but my prediction is those four tax cuts will be extended. Now, maybe the extension itself will be temporary, but I'm not worried about that. I think those four tax cuts have a long life to live, way beyond 2025. I'm going to do a little speculating for the end of this video, though. I'll say, there are three things I think Congress in the year 2025 might do to help finance extending these four popular tax cuts. First thing they're going to probably do is extend into 2026 and beyond the SALT cap. You're probably familiar right now. You can only deduct up to $10,000 in state and local taxes on any one tax return. That's not been popular in states like my own California, New York, New Jersey, but I think that cap is going to get extended to help pay for these other popular tax cuts. Second thing that I think is going to happen is I think they may consider some actual reductions to federal spending, as odd as that may sound. I believe for the last 20 years or so, coming into the last 2 or 3 years, that was never going to happen. The politics just weren't there to support federal spending cuts. But I think the politics are shifting. And I think there may be some federal spending cuts coming in, the mid part of this decade. So I wouldn't be surprised in 2025 if they say, okay, we're going to do some tax cuts, and to help finance it, we're actually going to do some spending cuts. Third thing that could happen is an increase in the highest capital gains tax rate. Today, the highest capital gains tax rate is 20%. It would not surprise me if Congress says, you know what, to finance some of these more popular tax cuts, we're going to increase capital gains taxes maybe to 24%, 25%, 26% for some at the higher earning levels. So I wouldn't be surprised if that 20% favored capital gains tax bracket comes up for some review and maybe a bit of an increase. So those three are speculative increases in terms of what I think Congress might do to finance preserving these popular tax cuts. But my main prediction is those tax cuts that are scheduled to expire in 2026 will not, because there's nothing more permanent than a temporary tax cut. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you like this video, please mash that like button and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you next time.